No,
No, we're good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Playmaker podcast. As always, we got the crew in here. We got Brady, Nate, Balls, myself. We're going to go around here and we're going to do our introductions and give our Playmakers real quick. I'll just start with mine since I'm already speaking. Devontae Adams breaks the franchise record for single season receiving yards. 123 receptions, 1553 in yards, 11 TDs. He broke Jordy Nelson's previous record, which was 1,519 yards, which Jordy Nelson broke in 2014, which Robert Brooks held. So that's my playmaker. Brady, what's up, dog?
Not much. Fun weekend. Pretty hot. I'm pretty hyped that Matt Nagy got fired, but we'll get into that a little bit later. My playmaker of the week is Mr. TJ Watt. Um, Tied the all-time sack record for a single season with 22 and a half, which puts him up to 72 total for his career, which is absolutely nuts for a player that has just completed his fifth year in the league. Obviously, probably the best pass rusher in the NFL right now, but it just got me looking too at some of the all-time sack leaders. And Bruce Smith at 200, Reggie White at 198. How much longer can he put together a career to start going after some of those numbers? I mean, my first instinct was that's numbers that are out of play, but man, if he keeps putting up numbers like this, you'll never know what the rest of his career can look like. So, yeah, Mr. TJ Watt had a heck of a season, and congrats to him on tying the record.
Absolutely, man. All right. Let's go around. We'll keep going clockwise. Balls, what's up, buddy?
what's up, man? Yeah, my playmaker comes last night. Played against the Bulls, Luka Doncic, man. The Bulls have been one of the hottest teams in sports right now, and Luka came out and messed around, got a triple-double, 22, 14, and 14. We've been talking on this podcast, can Luka carry a team to a title without having a strong number two? On a given night, Luka Doncic can carry that team, and he sure did last night. So props to him. He's my first NBA playmaker, I want to say. So there we go.
Right on, man. Little variety, little change of pace. Nate, dog, how we doing? How we doing, big man? How you doing tonight?
Guys doing pretty good. Got the championship game about to come on and everything. So great for that. And my playmaker is one Joel Embiid. Over the last 9 games, has averaged 32.7 points, 10.2 rebounds, and about 4 assists per game over the last 9, playing at an MVP level. And the reason why Sixers are slowly but surely climbing up back into the top 5 of the conference. So Joel Embiid, my guy.
Slid back in there. We kind of joked about that before we went on live here on the back end. So, Friday night he actually 31, 12, and 7. But yeah, he's just been a monster, and he's continued to deal with, I think, with a lot of the teams in the NBA have dealt with, the protocols and whatnot. I mean, tonight he's got no Seth Curry. It's basically him, Tobias Harris, and then Kork Maz and some of these other guys. Nang and some of these guys that kind of are bench players kind of riding it. So for them to be in the position they're in, but I think, it's standard for a lot of teams with the protocols and whatnot, but for them to continue to move forward and get back up in the standings shows kind of what he's been doing in his caliber of play in recent. So very awesome, guys. We got a big game happening tonight. We got the college football national championship game. We got Georgia versus Alabama. We've talked, in the previous, basically every podcast, I think we really touched on college football since we started this thing. It's kind of been a piece of ours. We had the Michigan highs that we all kind of rode together as a panel, which then we got our hearts broken, khakis or Lulamello navy blue pants, you call it, whatever. We try to put our gear on, we try to root and try to ride, and we get side swipe, but it's all good. I need to know, who do you guys got tonight? We're gonna start with Nate. We're gonna go your way, Balls, Brady, then myself. Who do you got? Georgia, Alabama, and why?
All right. I'm gonna go with Alabama here. And if you're a betting person, I need to figure out they were the dog. I need +3 So I'll take Bama +3. Reason why is just I just trust Nick Saban more than I just trust Georgia. Georgia hasn't got over the hump yet, so until they show it otherwise, gotta go Nick Saban, gotta go Bama.
All right, I like it. Balls.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you don't try and outthink yourself. And it being a gambling type of guy, I just don't see myself putting any money against Nick Saban and the Tide. So they've got the better quarterback, which I think may help them in explosive plays tonight, which is going to be the difference. So give me Bama, but it's gonna be a good game. It'll be close for sure.
Spin your camera, Joe. Spin it sideways. Spin it sideways so you're long, so you're full screen. If it'll work, maybe it's not gonna work. Maybe you have to restart it.
His phone screen's locked.
Oh, you might have it locked on the rotation. Slide like from the top, slide down. There you go. There you go. All
Brady,
right.
who do you got?
Yeah, Brady, who you got in the game? And then we'll go to Joe.
All right, I'm going to overthink it because apparently if I take Georgia, that's overthinking it. So I'm going to go with Georgia for 2 reasons. One, Nakobe Dean, their linebacker is just an absolute dude. So fast, so quick. I think that coupled with, them missing Mechie is a big loss. But I think the X factor in tonight's game is going to be freshman tight end Brock Bowers for Georgia.
I got him in every single one of my lineups, dude. You bring up that name. We'll talk a little DFS because that's what we got to do as well. He's in every one of my lineups. So
yep, I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to be the difference maker. It's going to be if Alabama's linebackers can stick on him, or if he might go off, and if he does, that's good for Georgia's offense.
All right, Joby one. Good evening. How we doing, fella? Who do you got tonight? Alabama or Georgia?
I appreciate you having me, and good evening to you guys. And I'm always a dog guy. I cannot stand Alabama. Please, somebody beat them finally. Nate, I never want to disagree with you. You said Alabama last week, and I wanted to punch my TV, my phone, myself.
Hey, let's not have any domestics going on over there over a college football game, huh? That's not a good thing.
It was a domestic of myself. I was
on the TV. All right, here's who I'm riding with. I'm going to take Bama because I'm going to take, like Nate said, I'm going to take the plus money. I got some money on the game. Why not, right?
Yep.
I think Bowers is going to have a big game. I think Brady's hit it on the nose. I think that's one part of that Georgia thing that if he does have a big day, which we are hoping he will be a difference maker, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Bryce Young is going to have a big game. I think Williams, I don't know, man. There's just Robinson. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. Wait, is Williams the receiver at Alabama or is that Georgia? Jay Williams, their main receiver.
Yeah, like Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
like
their main receiver.
Bama,
yeah. I think he's gonna. I think they're gonna be combined. And I just, you know what? If you're gonna tell me you got the 1 ranked school against the 3 ranked school, even though those rankings might be skewed a little bit, and you're gonna give me the plus on the 1 team, I'm just gonna rock it, man. It's kind of like putting money on the 7 horse. You always do it, right? The 7 horse. You always take 7, Joey. 1 always. All right. So here's the next part of the show we need to do. We need to make sure we get the comment winner chosen. So let's see. Joby 1. Tell these fine folks how they can possibly get themselves $30 in PayPal or auction credit. What do they need to do?
Well, every week at the end of the podcast, as soon as it's posted, you can go on. All you have to do is make a comment. It don't have to be a question. It can be a comment, a statement. Just whatever you want to do. We prefer you ask questions. The more we get, the better off we are. And if your name is chosen, you will win $30.
There you go.
PayPal credit or auction credit.
Yep. So this is last week's. We had 22 comments. Now, guys, remember, you can put more than one on there. Question, topic, comment. We only put you in the list one time, though, for the random. So there's like 22, but I think a lot of people put 2 or 3 comments. And I
wasted all those good questions.
Yeah, I got everybody's name in here that posted, then some. So I'm going to shuffle it 7 times as we always do, and probably Shaw Racing collects wins again like he always does. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we spin the wheel. Good luck, guys. If it does, I quit. Hey, there you go. A new one, I think. Eric Stallings. He's been on here consistently every single week. So, Eric, hit me up, man. Email me, devness45@gmail.com, or hit me in the DMs, whatever, on Twitter, wherever you're at, and we'll get you that $30, PayPal or auction credit. Just let me know what you want, my man. So, where do you guys want to start? You guys want to start NBA? Where do we want to run off to? Or do we want to go right? I mean, do we have a lot to talk about in the college football besides the national championship game? Obviously, the NFL is going to be last, but we have a lot to talk about in the NFL with playoff picture happening. Should we just start with NBA? Let's go NBA, right?
Yeah.
Have you done the playmakers yet? I mean, I'm trying to.
Who's your playmaker, Joby?
It's Fred VanVleet.
Elite,
Yeah.
Fleet, Van Elite. I call him Fred Van Elite. Yeah, he's a baller, man. He's a baller. So what's
last
he been
week?
doing?
They were 4-0, averaging 30 points, 6 assists, 5 boards, 2 steals.
30
did not miss a free throw.
Wait, you said
Unless
30,
this was another week.
30.6 assists?
No. He averaged 30 points.
Oh,
6 assists.
God, dog. I was like, damn.
Right, yeah.
And
he still scored 30 points and had 36 assists. Yeah, he would have been doing a lot better. But
Eloy, what up, dog? When are you gonna get up on this in this podcast and join us one of these nights? Get your Lions talk and your Cooper Cup talk. So one thing I do want to point out, it was brought up, actually, Balls brought it up, but the Warriors, right? They're starting to slowly get their pieces back together with that team. Klay Thompson made his return. He the other night he had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. He played 19 minutes. Obviously, they said they're going to slowly get him in, conditioning reasons, etc. But they're sitting number 1 in the Western, right? Suns are kind of knocking on that door. What's kind of interesting, too, is I see Jazz in 3rd. And we kind of touched on this a little bit before we went live. Hassan Whiteside is like all of a sudden this playmaker or this baller again, who was he was more of the old school style center, right? Because he can't get outside to guard the 3. You know, he's got to stay inside the paint. He's not today's big man, right? Today's big man's got to be versatile. You look like a Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, someone who can shoot a 3, someone who, if they have to, can get out and guard. But I was just checking his stats, actually, because I played him in DFS tonight. He's already got like 36 fantasy points, and there was still like 5 minutes left in the first half of the game, and they were up by like 20. So, I mean, obviously, if it becomes a blowout, he's probably not going to play much. But it's interesting where these Jazz are sitting. I mean, they're number 3. You got Suns 2. You got Warriors 1. I think once we get later on in the season, depending upon how these protocols play out and how often we're going to be losing players in each team, that we're going to have some very interesting playoff run once that actually happens. And do you guys feel like somebody like the Jazz have any type or can impose any type of threat on somebody like the Warriors or the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference?
Honestly, I don't think so. I probably say that because I don't see they had like enough firepower. Like, obviously, Jazz got Donovan Mitchell, Bogdanovich, he's a good shooter. They got fewer like players, but they pretty much like rely a lot on their defense. So if the defense is not really picking up, then a team like the Suns, a team like the Warriors, they can score quickly with. Like Suns, you got Chris Paul can score, Doug Booker can score, Cameron Johnson's been emerging lately. Aiden underneath, he could get buckets as well. Jalen Smith.
Crowder can be a quiet assassin, like out of nowhere.
And then out of the Warriors, Curry, you got Clay Bay, you got Wiggins, Jordan Poole.
Right.
So yeah, like I always feel like the Jazz are always like the 3rd or 4th place team in the regular season, but in the playoffs they just struggle for some reason.
It's just interesting to me because when I look at this and I'm seeing like the Jazz in at 3, and again, it's still early in the season, But we've kind of seen this. We've kind of seen them filter between like 3, 4, 5. Suns and Warriors have always been right there. I think the Suns actually led for maybe like a day or a couple days or something, because I think they actually played one more game and had one more win. But at the time, with Clay back, I mean, do you guys think there's really anybody? Do you think? I guess we'll go back to it again as we've seen this happen a couple more weeks. We've talked about this before, but do we feel like the Suns? Do you honestly feel like the Suns have what it takes to beat the Warriors if it gets down to it, playoff time? Anyone?
I think Chris Paul is going to be a big difference maker there. I mean, we saw the impact he made in the series last year. So it'll be interesting, though, because the good thing about Clay coming back at the time he is, he's got 2 to 3 months to figure it out. If this was an injury where he was coming back, a week or two before the playoffs, I might be more concerned. But
right,
they're going to be pretty well gelled depending on when Wiseman gets back. So it'll be interesting. I think the team in the West that I am most excited to see, though, is maybe Memphis.
The Grizz? Yeah, they're sitting at 4 right now.
Josh is playing out of his mind right now. He's, so you see the team. Obviously, it's a different animal when you get into the playoffs, but
right.
I think between Memphis and the Jazz, I think personally I would go with Memphis specifically because of Ja, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I like it, man. Anybody else want to add to it, or are we good there?
Yeah, Ja Morant, Western Conference Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. They're 19-4 in their last 23.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they may be 4th now. I mean, I would watch out for it.
If you really, honestly, like as things sit right now, in your own opinions, do you honestly feel, as well as Ja's playing, as well as the Grizzlies, one, do they have enough depth on that team in a 7-game series, 6-game series against, say, Warriors or Phoenix Suns late in the season? Do you feel like they have enough depth there to compete and stick with them? Or is Ja going to have to play out of his mind each and every single game, which is going to get draining? He's going to have to rely on somebody else at some point to get some kind of breather at, somewhere. So,
I mean, I would never count the Suns out because, but
what the question is really just, do you feel like the Grizzlies have enough depth to?
I don't know if it's depth. I think it's more of the experience of Will, just not the experience of being in.
Yeah, they're very young.
Yeah,
they're very young.
Yeah, and but then on the other side though, are the Warriors that old that by then they're just going to wear out?
Yeah, but
they've done it.
Right.
They have some good young talent, but
hang on. You got Clay just now coming in, right? Now we haven't seen, we saw 19 minutes of him in game action since, what do you say? It's the first time he's played in that new arena they built, and they built that in 2019.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
Clay has not been running up and down a court besides conditioning purposes when he's been able to, once he finally got himself in that position. He is fresh. And you're going to get somebody like Wiseman back who's going to have fresh legs as well. I mean, I don't know about the age thing. Yes, Curry could oppose, but he's still – I don't think that's
he's
going
a
to
freak. You can't count him.
In my opinion.
He's a freak.
So,
you can't really count him.
No. So
he could sit on the bench and score 25.
Well, I do have a question. Is that first series in the NBA 5? Is it a 5-game?
I believe it is 5.
Usually
yes.
is
5, and then it's 7, the 7.
So
7.
5-game series. I know your question was kind of Ja Morant based. I mean,
no, Grizzly based.
Well, yeah, Grizzly, Ja Morant. I'm thinking, man, he could carry a team for 3 games. They could be one of them teams, could they beat them if they face in the first round for some reason?
Burn them quick.
It could be one of those upsets that we're not seeing, coming. So that 5-game series, that always throws me off, man. I feel like almost anything when you have a superstar of that talent, of Ja Morant, is capable. I mean, it's David versus Goliath, obviously, if they're facing the Suns or the Warriors. But if you give me Ja versus Utah, I don't know.
Well, I
could
could see the Grizzlies beating Utah. Yes,
you get what I'm saying?
I
So
could see that happening. I just don't know
depending,
about the Warriors or Suns. You know what I mean?
right? Depending where they finish out, because they are very hot right now. Do they stay that hot? Do they keep playing this good ball? And we haven't got to the point yet of even the trade deadline. There's going to be some movement on these teams that are going to bolster teams that might actually go for a push now. Do they try and get another playmaker by Ja? Do they try? That's all in play still too as the season goes on.
So here's a question. This is a perfect segue into the Eastern side of things, the Eastern Conference. The Bulls are a big fan favorite on the panel here this year with who they've went out and got, where they're at. We think they can go deep. But the one thing we have brought up is the fact of the depth and the size to compete, especially with these teams, with these bigger guys. They got Vooch. When's Patrick Williams going to be back? I mean, is it? I don't know what his kind of, if it's just like a few month thing or if it's something that's season long. Is he going to be back by the end of the year? But are the Bulls a team that are going to go out and try to find somebody? Who are they going to shoot for? Are they going to try to pick up more size for that so they can compete? Anybody got anything that they want to throw out there that they feel or they think maybe they take a shot at or try to go get to improve that or get more depth on the team?
I mean, I don't have a specific player. Do you, Brady? We all know they need a big defense.
Right.
Some guy that can board. So
here's my one condition. Do not give up Kobe White. Do not give up Pat Williams. Whatever you can add defensively, it doesn't need to be a big name. It needs to be a guy that can come in and play 15, 20 minutes or defend one of their bigs. Because I've seen some of these things where it's like Kobe and Pat and go get like Jeremy Grant. And I was like, that's not the type of name that they need. They have DeRozan, they have Levine, they have Vucevic. Kobe's
they don't need another guy that's going to be fighting for usage. And
correct. So all they need, Pat is going to be coming back soon. Hopefully he can defend. That's one of the things that they need. They need a bigger defender. And then it's just a backup big behind Vooch. I think that's it. And hopefully there's some buyout candidates because we always see those as we come up in the next month or two. So that would be my hope. But I don't want to see any of this trade 21-year-old Kobe White or 20-year-old Pat Williams. We're not in the window to go win a championship right now to give up a piece like that.
So for my time, you're saying they need like an Oakley.
Well, they need another
come in and board.
They don't have much for size, like as far as like for big men.
It's Vooch and that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a couple. We have Tony Bradley and Tyler Cook, who is like
Vooch is old. Vooch is getting old too.
But just a guy you don't need to score points. You need somebody to come in, be a physical presence.
Correct.
Yeah,
board.
Need usage. You're not trying to compete with DeRozan and Levine and all these guys.
Not
that's where that Patrick Williams injury comes in big time, is because they expected him to be that role while he's still young, to grow as a defender and be that defender, rebound, could play a 5, even though he's undersized. If they went really small ball, he can kind of fill that role. But with him being injured, possibly playoff time, can he come back? So, I'm really interested to see, because I think they'll be in on the buyouts this year. They might not make a trade. They may stay pat, but I could see, those are the names that I'm wondering. Do they go after a DeMarcus Cousins who's out there? Do they go after somebody like that? Just a big body down low.
Sure.
Well, then I have a question for you guys. Does that player exist in today's NBA? Is there that guy? I mean, a guy to come in and give you quality minutes. Just be,
Yes, the Bulls had him.
Danny Green.
Nope, Daniel Tice. That's the player that this team missed.
No, I know, but I'm just saying a guy that's not a more of a fill the role, another like a defensive guy that's not really trying to put a bunch of uses up. Like someone like a Danny Green would be a guy like that. Caldwell Pope, guys like that. That's not a big man. That's a shooting guard. But I'm just saying in an example of a player that would, in today's times, at some position that would not be as much of a usage guy. That's not, they're not relying on and trying to take a bunch away from the stars. So
Yeah, I
What
would say
was
the
that,
Bulls,
Boul?
the Bulls had two of them. They had Daniel Tice and Daniel Gafford, and they both would fill that role.
Oh,
And
yep.
one they traded for, they got a couple pieces for Daniel Tice left in free agency as part of this, or actually part of a sign and trade, I think, is when he left. But
Tim, we're gonna get to the Tim, Papa Syrek. We're gonna get to the Olympics when we get to the questions. Yes, I know you're all gun ho on the Olympics. It's been the questions out there for you. We'll get to you, buddy. We won't miss that. Well, that'll be in our probably a recap after NFL everything. What were you gonna say, Balls?
No, I was just going to ask, so we look at the Bulls, and then, obviously another team like Philly out there scares me if I'm a Bulls fan. The Bucks also scare me because, they don't have that big that's going to take away the middle from Giannis just driving every time.
No one can guard him. Let's be honest. Like, nobody can guard Giannis.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Well, no, I agree, but I just watched the freaking Wizards score 90 points in the paint against the Bulls, and there's nobody on that team that can do anything like Giannis or Joel Embiid can. So there's an issue there. It's just limiting it to in a 7-game series is all I need from the Bulls. I trust
language, Brady.
And if Drew Holiday gets hot, and now you got Bobby Portis, who's been going off, used to be like the sixth man. He's been having to fill in. Bobby Portis has been going off for the Bucks. He helped them quite a bit last year, but he has been going off this last week or two. Like, if you check his numbers and his stats, we want to throw a little DFS in. Yeah, I got him in my lineups tonight. I've been playing him quite a bit, and he's been putting up the numbers. So,
and
check it out.
I do have a betting hint for people that like to bet. If you are looking to bet NBA Rookie of the Year, put some money on Franz Wagner because he is absolutely balling out.
Orlando Magic.
He's not one of those big names like Cade. He's not one of those big names that is getting a lot of recognition, but the dude is leading the NBA in points per game, field goals made, free throws. He's, a couple 30-point games he's putting up there. So he's dominating for the Wizards.
Right on. Anybody want to add anything to the NBA side? I mean, we talked Clay back. Embiid was a playmaker. Luka was a playmaker. Luka's been finally coming back to life. It seemed like for a while there he was just kind of hanging in the back. What?
Kyrie as well.
Yeah, Kyrie playing the away games.
That would be my question to you guys, though. Do you think that, just like it is in the NFL, is the COVID going to have a big impact when it gets down to playoff time basketball and stuff like that?
It's possible.
Because I apologize. I mean, until football's over, I won't watch basketball. I'll watch the.
It's possible. I mean, it's already affecting. I mean, it's affecting the day to day. Like, I brought this up, I think, last week. I'm like getting hounded in my season-long fantasy league from my guys, like my big money season-long league, because I have, out of my 18 guys on my roster, I had 5 guys that weren't out. Everybody else health protocols or whatever. And they're like, dude, what are you trying to people are thinking you're trying to lose these games and let people win for the week. Why would I be doing that? No, but why am I going to go and give away all my stars, all my top stars, just because they're out right now with health protocols, which will be back in a week or two, to get these guys that are just getting minutes and getting run, which are not going to be anywhere near the player for a season long as he would that. But they're, and trying to juggle all of that. It gets crazy. It gets difficult. You got these teams that literally, they have these guys that are playing 30, 35, 36 minutes that you've really never even heard of. Like, even if you follow NBA, like some of these guys are having to pick up from, you got the Greg Monroe's coming back to the NBA, and now he gets a 10-day contract with the Wolves, and then he plays good, so he gets picked up by another team that needs him. And these are guys that we normally would not see. I almost guarantee we would not see if we didn't have all this.
So you're saying this is going to be a stopgap, basically, toward the end of the season. There'll be just tons of little 10-day contracts if they play well.
It's how it's been going right now. I mean, and then some guys get picked up either by that same team. They get signed on if they play great, or they get picked up by somebody else. It's a good thing for the guys out there that didn't make it, are playing G League, played summer leagues, are playing
Right.
international ball or wherever, and they're getting this opportunity now to really shine. And if they shine, it's paying off for some of them.
I can definitely see like some G League players definitely maybe making an impact where they won't.
100%. 100%.
I get you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Joby, when you're asking that too, we've got to think, we limit the amount of players and we're going to limit the travel. So they'll be in series, right?
Right.
Travel won't be as much. You'll be facing the same teams. Hopefully they'll get it under control that way. But, I've kind of, and I'm going to use this to segue because I think we're about done with NBA going into NFL.
Yeah.
If it were like a game 7, say, somehow the Nets versus the Warriors, right? And we find out that KD and Steph Curry have COVID the day of game 7. Do they cancel then? Do they hold? Moving forward in the NFL, if we get to Super Bowl and say it's Tom Brady versus Josh Allen.
You mean Aaron Rodgers?
No, I said it how I meant. Tom Brady versus Josh Allen, and they both come up with COVID. Does the NFL proceed?
I find that to be the great question. If it's going to cost them money, will COVID actually make that much of a difference?
We're going to find out if it actually happens. I mean, that's one thing that it's kind of like everything else in the world, right? The way we're living, we live day by day. We take with what comes at us and we just adapt and we figure out another way, right? And see where it goes and see what happens. So it will get interesting, and it's going to continue to be interesting. We just got to run with it. Real quick, before we do get into the NFL, which is going to probably take a lot of the time, and then we'll do the questions, comments. We'll touch on college basketball. I guess it's 3-0 Bama right now. We got an update in the chat. But college basketball, and I'm sure they've been updated again. Brady can probably pull it up as he's my stat man over there on the computer going crazy as I'm trying to host this thing. But what I had before probably the update was one Baylor, I can't speak, Baylor, 2 Duke, 3 Purdue, 4 Gonzaga, and 5 UCLA. You got any changes, Brady, to that? Same?
No, looks good.
Wow, interesting. All right. NHL, we're not really going to touch on until it gets to playoff time or until NFL's over because, heck, there's not really a lot to talk about yet right now. They just got back from, I think, when did they get off the freeze? They had that little freeze part. They weren't playing there for a while, so they just got back into action. All right, so here we go. We're gonna talk a lot about NFL. We're gonna talk about a lot of things that happened this week. A lot of records were broken. Coaches were fired. Teams made the playoffs. Jimmy's happy. Mr. Guns is happy. We're going to take our predictions on these games. I mean, there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to take in. So let's just start with, since we got a couple Bears fans on the panel here, you're all happy. You're not doing cartwheels on stream like you told me you were going to because Nagy got fired, but here we are. So Nagy gets fired. Who was it? Your owner or president or whoever came out with some weird old press conference about the whole thing.
Oh yeah, the George McCaskey.
Yeah. So where do you guys? I mean, obviously you're happy about it. Most people are. Bear Down is happy right now. They're actually hashtagging Bear Down because Nagy's gone. So what does this do for your guys' organization? What do you think's the next step? Who would you like to see be the coach?
That's an interesting question. I just am going to start with, I would be happy if I didn't think the organization was completely inept and probably will hire somebody else who will fail. And that's just my pessimistic attitude towards the Bears. But it's just been after the press conference today, when you have George McCaskey coming out and saying, I'm just a fan. I don't know much about football, but also I'm going to hire the GM and he's going to report to me. Like, what is that? Like, what is that?
Not involved in the organization at all. Doesn't care.
It's just complete. It's a complete joke. And at this point, it's one of those, a clock's right twice. a day. I just hope the Bears stumble into somebody. Who that is, there's a couple names out there. Miami's coach, I'd love to have him there. Maybe
How long has the owner been there? How long have they owned the Bears? Has it been a long time?
Virginia McCaskey was part of the original Hallis family. The McCaskey family's just straight on from the Hallis family. It's Virginia McCaskey Hallis. So original family.
Does it almost make you think like maybe with the way that he presents himself, the way that you guys are talking about him, that maybe maybe they just need a total, like a new owner, somebody who would actually be involved, who would actually know football, who would actually be about football, and then build that type of, I'm all in, I'm bought in, I understand, I love the game, and I want to win, and I want success. Not just, okay, well, we try a run for 4 years. Okay, yeah, he didn't do great. Okay, I don't know a lot about football. We're firing him. We're moving on.
Well, it's one thing if he's the owner, it's whatever. Like George McCaskey and,
I don't think owners should be, like, involved more. It shouldn't be such a nonchalant, I don't really follow football.
Or at least fans. Should they at least be a fan of the game?
Right.
I mean,
the bad part is Ted
I heard I could make a lot of money doing this.
Ted Phillips was the head of football operations for the Bears, and he has been taken away from football operations and now is just on the business side. So we currently don't have a head of football operations. It's just George McCaskey, who's in the ownership team. So it's a complete cluster F over there, and I would be way more happy if I thought the Bears were going to be able to produce something out of these two firings, their general manager and their head coach. I think luckily, and this was my question of in the YouTube comments, was who has the best opening. They have a lot of cap and they have Justin Fields, which is a positive, but I don't know how many teams want to go to that organization. I don't know what type of head coach is going to go look at that team and be like, this is a good opportunity for me to succeed.
Yeah, but to counter that, if you win in Chicago, Mike Dick is held in such a high regard, and he wasn't really even that good of a coach. He ran into one of the best defenses of all time. I think the Bears will be pretty sought after. What makes me nervous about the hire, like Brady said, one is the whole McCaskey thing, but then they've reached out to Bill Polian, who's been a successful GM in the NFL. My thing is Bill Polian recently looked at Lamar Jackson and said he's better suited to be a wide receiver or a running back in the NFL. So I'm curious to see what he thinks about Justin Fields then. It feels like the good old boys club is just the good old boys club with the Chicago Bears right now. And, it's disappointing to see. But, there's a lot of teams that fired coaches today. It's Minnesota fired their head coach and GM. Miami moved on from Flores, and then there's some surprises where, New York held on to their head coach. For what reason? Who knows?
The Panthers held on to their coach.
Well, that gets me into I'm gonna shoot my question around since we're talking about it. So I'm gonna list the teams here. The teams that have head coaching.
Why did Miami's coach get fired?
Nobody knows. Don't know. Apparently, there was a falling out between his relationship with Tua. That was an issue, but I mean, he got brought in during
Watson.
Tua's not going to be there next year.
Yeah. So Dolphins fired their coach. The Bears, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Jaguars, and then the Raiders have an interim coach, obviously pending their playoff game. So they're a possibility. Definite, starting with you. Which head coaching opportunity do you think is most attractive to head coach?
Reality?
Yes.
I mean, I think this question, it's a great question. I think the way I'm going to answer it, I mean, are you asking me as far as someone who wants to come in and wants to already have something that's kind of set and ready to kind of just move forward with and possibly maybe boom? Or are you talking something where, hey, this guy's going to come in and he's going to just build this whole thing back up and take a couple years to do it?
However you want to frame it.
I mean, I'd kind of say like what Boul says, like even when we were talking about this earlier about like the Bears, the Vikings situation, right? Like the Vikings situation as far as where the team is at, where the players and everybody they have around them and everything behind that, I would say is probably out of those teams, probably not being a Viking fan, just being in general, looking at all the teams like me and Balls discussed earlier. Balls even said, well, I'd rather be in your guys' position. You know what I mean? As far as where the team is. So I think a team ready to succeed or just about maybe there or close to there with what you have, when you look at how many stars you have, when you look at, things around you, the possibility of getting rid of Kirk Cousins now, depending upon who they can go after, who they can get, having Dalvin Cook there, having such great trade bait with Alexander Madison. Now that we have that other rookie running back that looks like he's shown promise that Dalvin Cook's a big fan of. And obviously Cook's been an ambassador of Madison, but Madison, I think, is going to be a player that's going to get traded. You're going to see him on another team probably next year. He's probably going to be a workhorse back, a 3-down back for a team that's looking for someone like that. And I think he imposes some great opportunities to maybe fill some holes or get some picks or something for. So I think team-wise, where things stand, I mean, obviously, like in Chicago, there's a lot you got to get figured out over there, right? There's a lot of different things that have to happen, right? The Raiders probably aren't in that bad of a spot. I mean, look, they're getting into the playoffs somehow this season. It happened. They don't have their problem is their receiving core. Like, they have Hunter Renfrow. Zay Jones is kind of taken on a role. They have a great tight end, but there's a lot of pieces they have to fill there, I think, still. And then Miami, I don't know. I just don't think Miami's as good as they were almost projected to be this season. But that's my opinion. So I would say probably it's a long answered question, but I kind of wanted to go into different sides of why and who. I would say the Vikings. So.
Joby, what do you think?
I almost 100% agree with Deafness, because I would love to walk in, except for they fired my guy, my Ohio State guy. Well, not really Ohio State guy, but a Buckeye, Rick Spielman, as a GM.
Yeah, but he's been there too long, Joby, man.
Yeah, I get that. But
and go back, hang on, before you continue to answer this, like, let's talk on the Spielman real quick thing, since we have time here. We have as much time as we need. Let's look back and let's think about over the years, the missed draft pick. Like the draft pick they missed, he was a part of that. There's just a lot of things. And again, I'm going to question how much power he either held back from Zimmer or how much power he gave him or how much ability as a head coach Zimmer truly had with Spielman. And is that an issue that maybe held back Zimmer from doing some things? Was that maybe some of the conservative stuff, the conservative play calling? Was some of this stuff being driven down because we don't know that stuff, right? Unless we're in the their office, unless we're a part of that organization in the upper realms, we have no idea how much or what's being said, or hey, you have to do this, or you can't do this, or hey, you can do this, or hey, it's full go. You know what I mean? So I think Spielman was he did some great things for the organization, but I think he was a big issue of holding some things back, in my opinion.
I can agree with you, but you're in Minnesota. I'm in Ohio.
Right.
So we hear like two different sides of that coin.
Right.
But as far as just a team that's ready to go, I think that I mean I would coach the Vikings, and I just Jefferson, Thielen, go catch passes.
If you want to be a superhero, though, like I said, if you want to be somebody and you can change an organization around, I would say somebody like Chicago. Like if you could, like, think about it, you come in 2 or 3 years, like you're a contending team, like you're a freaking hero, man. You're like the greatest coach ever all of a sudden, right? So there's different ways you can see those things. Because in Minnesota, a lot of people are even saying talks I've heard the last day or so are, man, somebody probably is going to get into this position and they're going to have the keys handed over to the car, and they're going to, they may look like great heroes, but the team's already there.
There's no need to change that team though.
Right.
Oh, this team is really good defending the pass. Well, then we're going to pound you in the face with Dalvin Cook.
Right. Exactly.
Or I wouldn't get rid of Madison. I mean, I understand that he can. I mean,
he needs to go somewhere where he can
yeah.
play. Though.
I mean, he does need to be a starter. But
Too
man, what
good
a
a
backup!
talent to be sitting on.
What
the
a
bench.
backup though that you have.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a two-headed monster. If
All right.
you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Brady, go ahead with your.
Nate, what do you think?
Okay, so I'll probably go the opposite way. I'm probably target more of a team that's probably like rebuilding. So I'm probably looking at either the Bears or the Jaguars. But I probably go the Bears. I like Bears. To me, like they got more established talent. They're still pretty young because obviously you got Fields, the quarterback, Dave Montgomery. You got Mooney, who's been a stud the past couple of years. Still got Allen Robinson. I know he had a down year, but he's still very good. Got Cole Kmet tight end. Defense, you still got Roquan Smith, Akeem Hicks, Leonard Floyd, I think still on the team. So
No, Floyd's gone.
oh, Floyd's gone. Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Well,
they got Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson. So there's pieces.
So like the Bears got established talent, but still pretty young talent, and they got a bunch of cap room too. So I think you definitely can add a few pieces. I think there's like the right coaching, and then they get.
Well, yeah, I think
playoff,
the interesting part of the question. I think the interesting part of the question, right, is that you have the Jaguars and Bears who have young quarterbacks. The Dolphins have Tua, but we don't know about him. The Vikings have Kirk, but they might be looking for a new quarterback. Broncos, nobody there. Raiders, Carr. So there's a couple of different avenues you can go when you're trying to pick a team that you want to coach, right? Because you have a couple of teams that might be looking for a quarterback, or if you really are high on Fields or Lawrence, then that might be where you go. Balls, what do you think?
Chicago definitely. Like, if I'm going to be a homer, I'm going to go with Chicago. Nate did a good job, but like, if I really wanted to build something, I think Jacksonville could be a spot because I do think that, you know, Trevor Lawrence, if I'm going to look at Justin Fields and say I have to throw out his first season because of coaching, then man, Trevor Lawrence, the way he performed yesterday in that game, he looked pretty good. He showed you some of the stuff you wanted to see. And, you know, you're talking next year, they're number one in cap. There'd have to be, you know, it'd have to be a process there. You're not going to win right away. But, I mean, look at that division. Who's the best quarterback in that division? And we're talking Carson Wentz, Davis Mills, maybe. I mean, Deshaun's still there, but Houston doesn't want to play Deshaun. They've made that evident. And then
Tannehill. Fan, man. I'm a Davis Mills fan.
Balls.
I'm with you on that. Deafness. That guy is solid.
After like a year or two, though, who's in the NFC North?
True. Same thing.
Rodgers is gone. There's nobody like that. I'm scared of. At least.
I'm just showing Jacksonville because Nate handled the Bears pretty well. So just to give another perspective, like Jaguars, that's what
you got Edine. You got Edine too, who we didn't even get to see play, and I think he's going to be a big piece in that Jacksonville offense.
And if you're not in Jacksonville, like grabbing chicks' butts at bars, you can probably slide by for a couple of years trying to build the team.
Talking to another thing for Jacksonville is they're going to be number one in cap space, but we don't think about it, but players go to Florida sometimes just because there's no state tax. And we don't think about it, but when you're talking millions of dollars, that matters. So, a quick turnaround, plus they've got draft capital and young talent. You never know. So, Brady, who would you take?
Yeah.
I'm going Bears. And I'm a homer. I don't care.
Excuse me.
Yep. Don't care. I like Fields. I like young, controllable, cheap quarterbacks. So for me, it's Fields or Lawrence. And in that case, I think the Bears have more pieces to build around. Mooney's young. Montgomery's still good. Roquan in the center. Their line is all rookies or second or third year players. So that's going to hopefully get some growth. But yeah.
All right. Let's continue to let's do our picks on stuff. So I'm gonna throw a couple things out here. So we had a lot of rookie receivers that became stars this year, right? We had Jalen Waddle, who broke the rookie reception record in a single season. We had Jamar Chase, who broke the Bengals franchise record in a single season. We had Amon-Ra St. Brown, who just fucking came out of nowhere and just became a stud with like Goff and Boyle and whoever else at quarterback, Tim John Wong or whoever. But if you were to draft, if you could go back and draft a receiver, the rookies of this year, who are you taking? Which guy are you going with? Are you going with Waddle? Are you going with Chase? Are you going with St. Brown? Who are you running with?
Are we
Doesn't
taking
matter
them where they're drafted, or like we have a first round pick?
Just straight up. Now that you've seen how they performed, right? Now you've seen how they played this year. Which of those receivers, which receiver are you taking? Which one would you be drafting if you knew from what you got out of the production and what you saw this season, the rookie receivers? Brady or Joe can go first, or however you want to go, whatever order.
I would take St. Brown. I mean, because who is throwing that guy the ball? Hell, I don't even think he knows. He's just like, I'm getting open. Can I get it? I just hope that like everybody else that ends up in Detroit, that he gets out of Shawshank way before it's too late.
Yeah, or it's another team that gets built out and then just becomes a contender.
Yeah, how many years though as it looked like they're going to get built up? You know,
well, that's what I'm saying.
We have Barry Sanders. We're going to get built up. No, you're not.
Well, they had Barry Sanders and they didn't do anything else with it.
Right. They had Megatron.
Running back with no offensive line, no matter how good he is, it's not gonna. Everything else has to come around. But all right, Nate.
I'm gonna go Jamar Chase. I did see that Derek G said Jamar Chase disappeared in a few games, which he did, because there were a few games where T. Higgins kind of was like the number one, but Jamar Chase, he did so dynamic. He could stretch the field, he go intermediate, so I gotta go Jamar Chase.
You just gotta disagree with me, Nate. Damn it.
Balls.
I would go Jamar Chase as well. I just think his playmaking ability is on a whole nother level. You know, if I were to compare him, what I could see his next year being like, you know, Justin Jefferson had an amazing year, but I could see that kind of, you know, continued path for Jamar Chase next year, especially with Joey B throwing him the rock, man.
But he has pieces around him. That's the only thing. I mean, I think he had a fantastic year, but he has pieces around him.
Right, but so Balls, part of the thing was like we're not in, so like with this question, we're not really saying like, hey, Joe, like Chase is only going to have Burrow, right? So like
I know
that's like any quarterback, like, you know, whatever, whoever the team is.
I think even without Joe Burrow, he would still have a great year next year.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying.
Like, I'm
because
putting
they have other receivers.
Jefferson.
Right, but then we got to also go, what would Waddle do with someone like Joe Burrow? What would Amon-Ra St. Brown do with Amon St. Brown had nobody? What's that?
No, I said you're just reading into it. I mentioned Joe Burrow because of like what Jamar Chase will be next year, but that's why I view his path like a Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to be a top 5 receiver in the league, so I would take him no matter who.
Like I think like T. Higgins had great games because they were like, oh, Jamar Chase is really good. St. Brown is pretty much what they had. And at the beginning, they didn't even realize that.
Yeah, there's different ways you could argue it, you know. So, Brady, who you taking, bud?
I'm taking Jalen Waddle.
There you go.
And
Waddle. The Waddle.
NFL record for rookies and receptions.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of talked over it, but I mean, we can't ignore the fact that there was nobody throwing to him this year, and he still put up 105 catches. So I would say Chase definitely stretches the field more, but I want to see Waddle in a better situation. I think he might be a guy that can break out next year, depending on how consistent.
You guys giving St. Brown no love because he's in our division, or what's going on over here?
See, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's why I like St. Brown. I don't have to watch that crap.
I mean, we're talking about knowing how to throw to him. He had freaking Tim Boyle throwing to him.
Right.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want Tim Boyle throwing to you?
Waddle had Tua at least, which is
I understand. But I mean, St. Brown also had like 50 less catches than he did, so it's just weighing those.
Well, I mean, when they're 80-yard catches, you really don't need that many.
All right, let's move on. Is Tom T in the building? He's going to like this part of this conversation. If Tom T's around. All right, guys, the Rams. We talk about these guys often, right? The Rams and Matthew Stafford, and he can't win big games. And Jesus, I mean, it ended up really not meaning anything yesterday, right? They still ended up in the same deal, even with the loss, etc. It didn't matter because of how things worked out. But he finally got to take some shots on Twitter like he likes to when Stafford starts to fall apart, if you will, which for good measure, as being a Lions fan, I know why. Do we think Stafford is going to get this turned around? What's happening? Is the defense going to come back together like it was beginning of the season? Are they going to be able to show up come playoffs here? What's your guys' takes on the Rams in general? Stafford and the Rams in general right now. What's your thoughts?
Well, they're going to find out because they're going to get the Cardinals right off, which the Cardinals, I think, they're like the Cowboys. It's I knew they were going to get owned by the Seattle.
Honestly, besides,
I knew that.
No offense to my man Nate, but besides the Eagles, the Cardinals are probably the best team that they could have landed on to have to face first round. It'll
either be the best game of the weekend or they will stomp the shit out of the Cardinals.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think that's their best. I think that's their best possibility out of everyone they'd play first game, first round. Tell me differently. Change my mind. Come on, guys. Talk to me.
I just think Matt Stafford has just got to not make mistakes because every game that they have not played well, it's him throwing multiple picks. And hopefully, I think that the defense has too many stars to not produce. I mean, Von Miller, Aaron Donald,
but it's been like 4 weeks now, it seems like, where they've...
Yeah, I don't know. I have confidence.
Brady, I have a slight delay on the game. Would you please stop celebrating when they do something good?
Did I celebrate?
Yeah, you go, yes. Earlier, you put your hands there. Like, damn it, what happened?
Derek says, I think Kyler balls out and the Rams don't make it past first game. I mean, it's a possibility. Anything can happen any given Sunday. I don't know, man. I think this Rams team I think they're much better. I think they're actually a 3 seed. I think they're a 3 or a 2 seed in the NFC. They just haven't been playing like it the last 4 weeks.
Well, Stafford might be tired. He's used to quitting about 4 weeks ago where he came from because he was like, well, I'm not in the playoffs. So I don't give a shit.
Take Kupp out of the game. They don't have much, dude. They have Cam Akers back. They have Sony Michel. Higbee went off actually last week, and he's actually a decent tight end. He just never has to get love because they have Kupp who gets 20 receptions every game. But they have Beckham. They have Van Jefferson. I mean, they have hands, and they've all been proven to step up when they have to, when they try to triple team Kupp. If they triple team Kupp, I think Odell has a monster game where Van Jefferson just goes off. I mean, you're just going to have somebody wide open. I don't know. Tell me differently. Balls, you got stuff on your mind. Your mind's spinning. Let's hear it.
I don't know if they're going to win this weekend. Honestly, I kind of like Arizona in that matchup. I'm wondering if we find out that maybe Stafford's a little beat up, a little bit injured, because he's really hit a wall. I think in his last 100 throws, he has like 7 interceptions. Something doesn't seem right. And Stafford, always in his career, has always battled little injuries here and there. You might not hear about it right now, but I'm wondering if he's actually 100% healthy or not. I'm not big into Matt Stafford either, honestly. He's a good QB. Could they win? Yeah, but I think that team's got a lot of dysfunction going on right now. They had a chance to put the Niners away. Their coach was celebrating in the end zone like they had already won with them, which I get, teams like that. But then you better win that game. And the Niners just came out and punched them in the face, and they rolled over. In that second half for sure. I'm not sold on that team. I think they've got dysfunction too. You saw Jalen Ramsey throw a punch at another player. I don't care who you are. Like, they may be teammates, but that might be boiling that we don't know. Especially, they have played pretty decent, but there's things right now going wrong for that team that they're not used to. So I'm interested to see if they keep it together. And if we were picking this week, I would take the Cardinals over them.
Ooh, Ball's taking the Cards. All right. Who is rest? Well, we're not picking that. We're picking that Monday. Never mind. We already said that. We were just kind of asking. I just want to know what you guys' thoughts on Stafford in general were in the Rams because of how they've been lately. And I know Tom T would appreciate that as well. Tom T is going to be high-fiving Balls. I think they had a little conversation pre-podcast. Def's going to bring it up.
Grilling them.
Balls. Flip
Like,
the
I
script.
apologize for not knowing, but
Tell them the Cardinals. Tell them the
Is this
Cardinals all
Stafford's
day.
first time in the playoffs?
No, this is maybe his second.
Second time or
It
third
might be
time,
third.
but he's never had a defense. He's
Yeah,
never
but
had a
I mean, how
defense.
many years has it been since he's been to the playoffs?
He's never had a defense. So
Or
we'll see.
run game.
All right, guys. So here it is. We're gonna get into the picking and why you guys. We're gonna go game by game here. So obviously, we see on the screen we got the Titans, we got the Packers locking up that first round bye. Let's go ahead and let's start with the Bengals and Raiders. All right, 4 seed, 5 seed, both 10-7, both finished 10-7. Who do you guys have and why? Bengals or Raiders?
I'm gonna go with the Bengals, and I would say that because one, I like their offense a bit better, and two, the Raiders. I just don't trust the Raiders defense at all to stop Jamar Chase, to stop T. Higgins, to stop Tyler Boyd, to stop Joe Mixon, even the tight end C.J. Zuma. He's been a producer for the Bengals, so. I think there's too much firepower for the Bengals for the Raiders to contain. It probably be a high-scoring game. I can see maybe going like a 34-27 Bengals. But yeah, give me Bengals in that.
All right, so Nate, I'm gonna keep track of all this stuff too, you guys. We're gonna see how we end up here.
Oh, please.
Nate says, "Oh man." All right, Brady, who you got, buddy?
Bengals, and I just trust Joe Burrow more than I trust Derek Carr. So.
All right, where's Jimmy Guns when you need him? Balls.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Bengals too. The Raiders have been hot. They had to play their way in. Credit to their coach and what that team's done, but I just think the Bengals. Give me Joe AB.
All right, Kenobi, who you got?
See, as everybody said, like the Bengals should win because on paper they are the better team.
But it's any given Sunday and it's playoffs now, and you know shit happens.
I mean, eventually the Raiders' luck has to run out, but they have they have played their way in. They were just a trash team, just a hot mess. Why are they even in the playoffs? So
okay.
I'll go with the Raiders.
You don't know why they're a hot mess. What do you mean? Like,
I mean,
Chase
they
just
should
broke
not
a
even
record.
be there.
Like,
How
he's
they
going
keep
for 1,000 yards in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, all the games they just seem like they should be losing these games and they're winning them. In the last few minutes, they're just winning them. Like I think they would have definitely just let the Chargers in last night if it wasn't for that timeout called. And they were like, "Oh, okay, you want to play a game? Then I guess we'll go ahead and try."
All right, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm wearing the Raiders hat. I wore the Raiders hat because they got into the playoffs. But I'm gonna take the Bengals. Joe Burrow is a winner. He knows how to win. He's a championship. He's got that mentality, and he's got some heck of receivers that are going to catch just about anything he throws their way between Chase and Higgins. So
you guys
I'm going to go with them.
$1
But it's anyone's game, man. It's anyone's game. All right, let's roll on to the next. Let's keep it on the AFC side. Bills, the 3 seed against the Patriots, the 6 seed. Who do you got? Joby, start with you this time. Work our way up. Climb the ladder.
This one I think is the toughest one. It could go either way. I think it would depend on the weather, possibly. Singletary has been just dominating, but I'm gonna go with the Bills, and I hate to do that.
Wow. Why do you hate to do that?
I've been a Pats fan since '85. I'm like Steve Grogan guy.
Gotcha. All right, Nate, who do you got, bud?
All right. I'm gonna go Buffalo as well. And the big reason why I'm going Buffalo is because the game is in Buffalo. It was in New England. I probably would leave New England, but since the game's in Buffalo, it probably gonna be some kind of windy weather or it might be snowing probably. So
Right.
I lean Bills. I think they probably get done a little bit more in the run game. Like I said, Singletary's been playing well. Josh Allen obviously can win with his legs as well. So I'll probably say Bills, probably like a lower scoring game, maybe like a 20-14 kind of game. I can see that going.
Okay. Balls?
Buffalo. I like Josh Allen better than I like Mac Jones, and you're going to find that out. I'm usually going to ride with the QB, so give me Buffalo.
All right. Brady?
Buffalo. I love Josh Allen.
I'm going to take them too because you guys know I've talked about them. I've talked about the Bills. The Bills hats have made the appearance many times on the podcast already. I'm an Allen fan too. I'd love to see him in the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. I will say, though, that I think this, again, me bringing up like toughest spots for a certain team, I really, truly think this is a very tough first round game against New England, even at a 6 seed. I think we're going to find out. I don't think this is a blowout by any means. I think Buffalo gets through. I think they win. I think it's a very tough, very fought-out game. And the Bills come ahead, but, man, like –
Would any of you guys be surprised if the Patriots did win that game?
If I'm looking at this right now, like, and if I'm trying to see where an upset really stands, I think that's where an upset could stand. Not that I want to see that. Trust me, I want to see Buffalo. I said the Buffalo Bills and the Packers were my pick for the Super Bowl last week. I still want to see Buffalo there. But if I'm looking at this right now, and there's probably going to be an upset, right? It just depends on where that is. I could see it be this game as much as I don't want it to be. So I'm taking the Bills. I think it's a close game, but don't be surprised if this is where I feel an upset may stand. So that's we got a full wash on Buffalo on that game. All right, let's move on to the Chiefs and Steelers. I think I know what everybody's answer is going to be. If somebody is not going with the Chiefs here, tell me, and I'll put you in the Steelers.
Big Ben's trash.
Yeah. So we're all on board with KC. I really hope they lose the next round, though, after that. All right, let's move on to the NFC, and we're only going to do 2 of the games because the Rams-Cardinals game is actually Monday night. So we'll pick that game when we start the podcast Monday night. That'll be our prediction for the Monday night game. That game is Monday night, guys. So let's start with the Cowboys-Diners. Who do we got? Let's start going down this time. Brady.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think their offense is clicking. I think that defense forces turnovers at a decent rate. And 49ers just rely very heavy on Debo. And I don't know if they have the weapons to keep up with the Cowboys offensively. So,
okay. All right. Balls?
Taking the Niners. I think they're just going to out-physical Dallas. They're going to punch them in the mouth. And it's going to be one of them games that you're going to look back and be like, man, they just won it in the trenches. So I'm running with the Niners.
Wow. All right. Nate.
What's the patient to say this? I probably would say the Cowboys. I think Dak is finally back in the groove. He's starting to play some good ball. They got tons of weapons on the outside. I know they lost Michael Gallup, but Cedric Wilson is still a capable 3 on that team. I just don't, and then for like 49, I just don't trust Jimmy G at all. Like he hasn't really shown me much in the past like that. He could actually like maybe lead like maybe like a late game winning drive or maybe like kind of game. So I just lean Cowboys, and yeah.
Okay, Joe.
As a lifelong Cowboys fan, this is the worst matchup.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
could pray for him to get. I'm going to take the 49ers. They do not cover the tight end for one, and they are so spotty. He will throw 5 touchdowns this game, throw 2 next game for 187 yards. They can't run. Who are they going to run? Which one of their broken running backs is going to run for them?
So as crazy as this sounds, I think this is another one of those games. I think the Bills Patriots is on the higher spectrum, but I think I think your 3-6 seed game is where you see your upsets if it happens this week on both the AFC and NFC side. I still think Dallas is going to get this thing done, but I do agree that there is a very good shot that the 49ers could come out here and punch them in the mouth and win. Now, I'm going to take the Cowboys, but I can agree with Balls and Joby One on the fact that this game really could go either way. And again, this another 6 seed playing a 3 seed looked to be probably, an opportunity for an upset.
And to say that in front of a guy wearing a Deuce Staley jersey,
All right. All right. So let's move on. We got the Bucks and Eagles. Nate's going to take his Eagles, right? Is anyone else going to ride with the Eagles? Nate's got to take his Eagles, right?
I've watched a lot of Eagles games this year because I have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team. Yeah. And there's just times where that offense looks like it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just a struggle bus. If they aren't controlling the line of scrimmage and, running the ball like they did during that 6-week stretch where they were just manhandling teams. I just don't know if you do that to a Bucs team like this. Obviously, the loss of Antonio Brown and Godwin's big. That kind of honestly shifts my view on the Bucs long term as a Super Bowl contender. But I think this game probably is a touchdown or two, to be honest. I struggle to see where Philly comes up with enough offense to keep up with the Bucs, even losing Godwin and AB.
Okay.
Sorry, Nate.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Tampa Bay, I think, has got this. I mean, unfortunately, they got to go up against Brady's goat, Tom Brady. So I don't think it's. Unfortunately, I don't think it's close.
But
game,
again, that's where you see, like you always hear. Well, if they can stop the run, well, they're rarely going to run it. I mean,
but again,
what's going to happen.
Yeah, this could be one of those things where,
it'll be a lot closer than people think. I think it'll be a really close game.
I will say right now, I would not want to run anywhere near Vita Vea, personally.
Oh yeah. You got to run away from that man, please.
Nate, what are your thoughts on the game? I know you're probably picking Philly, but what are your thoughts?
I'll say in order for us to win this, at least have a chance to win this game, like I said, we got to be able to run the ball and we got to be opportunistic on defense. Unfortunately, I don't trust our defense because Johnny Gannon plays a soft, zone defense, which I absolutely hate. But if we can somehow get maybe 1 or 2 turnovers in the game, then we actually might have a decent chance to win. But besides that, yeah, I think the Bucs probably will win. I'm still going to Eagles, but I think Bucs probably going to win. But I think I'm agree with Joby one though. I think it'll be a closer game than a lot of people think.
I mean, to make you feel better, they do wear green.
What's that?
I said to make him feel better, they do wear green, and I mean the Jets gave him a hell of a game. They might not know. They might still think they're playing the Jets.
Huh.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm just looking up stats wise. Buccaneers had the 3rd best rush defense in all of the NFL. So I mean, Ravens 1, Titans 2, Bucs 3.
Yeah.
So it's a tough matchup. Like I said, Vita Vea is an absolute monster, and he controls the line of scrimmage very well.
Yep.
So luckily, I think Hurts' legs are going to be a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
There's been games where they don't use him at all, and it's a lot of just scrambling rushing. I think they need to do some design runs for him. Roll him out, get him on the move a little bit, change up the line of scrimmage a little bit, and that'll help him open up, Gainwell or Howard or Sanders. Is Sanders back? Do you know, Nate?
Sanders should be coming back. Him and Howard should be back for the game. That's what Sirianni said in the press conference. So hopefully they are, because then we can have, like I said, we have Howard, Sanders, also Scott probably could be coming back as well. And we got Gainwell, so we could just throw a bunch of run backs at them and hopefully
if they win, Hurts will win this game for him.
He's going to have to, I think.
Well, because the Bucs will stop the run, but can they stop Jalen Hurts? Because he's dropping back. They're like, oh, he's passing. There he goes.
I'm proud of the Buccaneers that they actually got very good linebackers, because Devin White, he's fast. They got Lavonte David. He's been underrated his whole career. So,
and the problem is they have no receiver that you would fear. The Eagles have no wide receiver you'll fear, or running back. To be honest with you.
Well, Scott.
They got Devontae Smith. That's about it.
Scott Sanders, if Sanders is back. Sanders has never been utilized properly in Philadelphia.
Correct.
Let's be honest.
Or Watkins will have a big game.
No. Can we bring back Devontae from the first 6 weeks of the season? Because
Devontae Smith was a beast at the beginning of the year. Remember that? With him and Hurts,
I don't know if it's
on a different level.
I don't know if it's just. I know they've completely went back to the run game, so it's obviously taken away from this. But I've not been impressed the couple times I've watched him and Hurts. They just don't seem to be on the same page.
I know they've been better. They've been better. Like the past couple weeks, they've been connected for more passes. It looked like the Eagles are trying to get Devontae Smith more into the offense, which they shipped all season.
But they played nobody, Nate. I mean, they really.
That's true. You're right about that.
All right, guys. You guys got anything else for the NFL? Anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we kind of went through our picks for first round. It'll be fun next week, Monday, to go back through and see how we did and where things landed and where we were wrong, so wrong, and where we were so right, or not any of it at all. But we'll see where everything lands. Let's get to our comments, questions, topics. We'll start at the top, but just in order here. I got Eric, who actually won this week, says, awesome stuff. I'm curious to see what the results of the national championship team. I'm taking Alabama to win. George always chokes in big games. We kind of already went over that. We did our picks at the beginning of the game. So some of this stuff we may have already covered. Jim F. for Brady and Balsley mainly, but read the headline when open the news. How do you feel about the GM being fired too? At the end of another disappointing season, Bears fire coach Matt Nagy and GM Ryan Pace. I think we kind of touched on the whole Bears thing, the debacle, where they're at. We kind of asked where you want to go, or
I asked a similar question.
I will say quickly that there are people who are kind of in the Ryan Pace as keeping him there. I've seen some people talking about the issue with that is you don't get 3 head coaches. You don't get, a second quarterback that you've now mortgaged the future for, that whether or not that's going to succeed or not. He's on year 7. He's 0-2 in the playoffs. He missed on a quarterback. He's traded a bunch of draft capital. He's ruined the salary cap with a bunch of large contracts. You just can't survive that in the NFL. I think that's similar to deafness with Spielman. It's just too many mistakes. Right. And there were some hits in there, right? He obviously drafted Justin Jefferson, obviously drafted Dalvin Cook, but when you make mistakes on the big things, you just can't survive that long in the NFL without producing more wins.
Agree. All right. Our boy Nate says, stole this from Twitter. You can have one of these backs in his prime on your team for one season. Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Gale Sayers, Emmett Smith, Eric Dickerson, Mary Motley, The Nightmare, Okoye. Who is it going to be for one season? Get one season with this guy, with whoever you're taking. Who is it going to be? Brady, let's start with you.
I can only pick from those running backs, Nate?
Yes. That's the list you get to choose from. You get one running back from that list.
I will take.
You're going to take a Bear, right?
No, I'm not going to take a Bear because I mean, my first instinct is Marshall Faulk because it is the NFL, but I will take Barry Sanders. I think he provides the passing game aspect that maybe some of those other guys can't. But
Okay.
I mean, that's just because of what it wasn't as prominent back in the day than it obviously it is now. So
Right. All right. Balls. Sweetness.
Yeah, not a question. Sweetness.
Sweetness. All right. Nate, you want to answer your own question? Who would you take? You're muted, bro.
Muted. Okay. I'm actually gonna go with Jim Brown. Actually, I think Jim Brown will be definitely interesting to see how he plays in today's NFL. So yeah, that's my pick.
Okay. Joby.
We had to take Jim Brown because he'd protest against him if he didn't. But I mean, if we're talking, it just depends on the era. To me, though, I mean, even as a Cowboys fan, I'm taking Earl Campbell because I'm just going to pound you. And why in the hell was Marion Motley on that list? I'm not quite sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to take Emmitt Smith because he knows how to find the end zone often. So I'll change it up and take Emmitt Smith. All right. Balls. Question. Did the Eagles win the Carson Wentz trade? The Colts-Eagles trade summary. Colts received Carson Wentz. Eagles received top 20 pick, third-round pick, $100 million in cap relief. Eagles made the playoffs. The Colts did not. Oof. Let's have Nate answer this one because this is kind of an Eagles question.
I mean, shoot. If you're looking at it right now, I mean, he was devastated the Eagles won it. Like I said, now we got 3 first-round picks, all of right now, like all top 20. Like might have a future guy in the Jalen Hurts, so who's under contract for at least the next couple of years. We got more cap relief. We got draft capital, so we can either draft the players or make a trade one too. So yeah, I'm about to say I see right now. Then yeah, look like the Eagles have one trade so far, but obviously it's still pretty early. It's only been one season, so.
All right. Now the playoffs are set. Let's hear everyone's Final Four and Super Bowl picks. This is a good one, even though we'll be going through this as the playoffs go on. But what do you guys have as your Final Four? So your AFC, NFC championship games, and then Super Bowl.
Can you throw that thing back up? Can you throw the games back up quick?
Yeah. Joby, you start this one. So you got to do your Final Four. So your AFC championship, NFC championship, and then your Super Bowl picks. Who do you got?
Raiders, Bills, Bucks, Packers, and Bucks, Bills.
Bucks, Bills.
Bucks, Bills. All right. Nate?
All right. Final Four, AFC, I'm going to go Titans, Chiefs. NFC, I'm going to go Packers. I'll probably go Packers, Bucks as well. And then I'm going to go Packers, Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be consistent with my original pick.
Balls?
I would go Titans, Bills, and Bucks, Packers. And I'm going to stick with that for now.
Brady?
I'm going to go Titans, Bills, Packers, Cowboys.
Ooh, the Bucks? Brady's getting beat by Aaron Rodgers somewhere? What's happening here?
No, I think Cowboys. The Bucks and Cowboys would play round 2.
Yep.
I just struggle. I just really struggle. You know how high I've been on Tom Brady the entire year. I've picked him the entire year. I just really struggle to see. I want to see that offense this week. That's my issue.
Playoff Lenny season, baby.
It might be, and I might. So, but I just really struggle with them. Gronk and Evans, is that enough? I just don't know. So that's my issue. And then I'll go. I'm gonna go Cowboys, Bills. Switch it up.
All right. So I'm gonna go Titans.
Will the Bills finally beat the Cowboys?
I'm gonna go Titans, Bills, Packers, Rams, Bills, Packers, Super Bowl. All right.
Who will win that, Daphne?
What? The Packers,
Who will
Bill?
win that? Yep.
Fuck, man. I don't want to have to choose. Probably the Bills.
Mm.
Are you getting better?
Their first
Huh?
one.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Hey, there's a first for everything, right?
This whole season,
That's what they say.
I promise you, this Rodgers has just been doing this just to tell the Packers to go fuck yourselves.
Shaw Racing collects a multi-winner on the channel, and he wins just almost every weekend. Not this time, though. Not this week. But, hey, guys, hope you all had a great weekend. Thanks so much for the win again. Much appreciated. Great topics and debates. Keep up the great work. He sent me a message on IG. All right. Got it. We already did all that. Do you think the Colts have a chance this year? Jax should be a no-brainer. Do you think the Colts have a chance this year? Jax should be a no-brainer. What's Jax?
Yikes, William Carter.
Right.
He already thought he was counting that W, and
you were counting that W, brother.
Cue the Curb the Enthusiasm music.
All right, let's move on. Joe Mans, great show as always, guys. I don't, if it's been asked, but what is your NBA Mount Rushmore? So 4 top NBA players, our favorites, tops, whatever, however you want to see it. What's your NBA Mount Rushmore? So your 4 faces of the NBA. Joby, start with you.
Jordan, Magic, Bird, Chamberlain.
Nate?
I'm going to go Jordan. I'm going to go LeBron. I'm going to go Chamberlain. I'm going to go Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
All right.
Go Kareem.
Balls?
Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kukoc.
Jesus Christ.
Homer.
Brady?
You can't tell me those are the best presidents on Mount
Brady.
Rushmore, right?
There you go.
Who the hell would know what the hell Tony Kukoc is saying? He ain't going to be the best president.
Michael Jordan would. And
Brady.
it's packed.
Right.
Get open, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because
Mute your mic, Balls. You've said enough. Brady?
well, it's interesting because you can go a couple different ways. You can go best players or biggest impact, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you see as your Mount, however you see that for you.
Okay, I will go Michael, LeBron. I'll go Wilt.
3
And
wins.
I'm going to go with Steph Curry.
Damn, that's pretty much what I had.
And my reasoning is because he's completely bringing in a completely new era of NBA basketball, and he's going to be an icon in that respect. However his career ends up, he's going to be the guy who changed the game, and that's I give that a ton. You can argue he might not be the best skilled basketball player, but in regards to impact, you got to put him up there with Michael and some of those guys that have just Michael, LeBron, that completely changed the game.
So I'll change Wilt out for Rodman. I'll take Balls and I'll ride with Rodman just because he was the best freaking rebounder ever in the game, in the NBA game. He just changed. He was just built differently, man. For the size he was and what he could do in that game, it was incredible. But yeah, Jordan Braun. I'll just take Rodman for Wilt, even though Wilt's got to be in there. And then I agree. I was writing Curry down like as I was listening to mine when you said that because he's best 3-point shooter ever, and yes, he changed the game. So, how could you not bring him up? You know,
and how did the Black Mamba not even get entered in one of our lineups?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. You know, it just depends on how you see him.
I agree that he should be in the conversation. My only issue was I was more looking at like impact and the game. He's just so much like Mike. It's just hard to differentiate the impact on the game. Obviously, he won 5 championships, one of the greatest players of all time. But I guess I was thinking more of it as an impact on the game than I was specifically.
Well, I mean, Mike should have probably been disqualified because we were all taking him.
Right.
Okay.
And if I would have took my legit 4, it would have been Mike, Kobe, LeBron, and Steph. That's my 4.
Well, don't you just look like a shining superstar? Now mute your mic.
Parrish, Will
kidding.
Purdue. You would have taken Mike, Pippen, Parrish, Will Purdue.
Yeah.
I
All right.
think John Paxson, Steve Kerr should be in the running.
Right.
Yeah.
BJ
Paxton.
Armstrong, baby.
Yeah. Joe Dumars.
Yeah. All
All right. Joby One Kenobi question: what's going to be the best game of Super Wild Card Weekend? I think I'll start this time. I haven't started once. I'll say the Bills Pats game. All right, go, Brady.
Can you throw the thing back up?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, I'm a child. I think Bengals Raiders would be the best game.
All right, I like it. Balls.
Cowboys Niners.
Okay, Nate.
I might as well go Bills Patriots.
Okay, I like it. Joby.
Cowboys Niners.
I just hope there's a game in the snow. I want to see some snow playoff football.
I
It's
just
so
think
much
ruins-
fun.
I know, but it ruins the offensive game. Like
The Bills don't want to see that.
Well, they can play in that game. Yeah, sure they can. Singletary and Allen will just run it. They'll keep it on the ground. This Raiders game feels like it was set up for them to win after the passing of Madden. No coach in their right mind would have called timeout there at the end of the game. Your thoughts?
I don't know if you saw my tweet or if anybody saw it, but so there was a report that came out that they changed their game plan after the timeout. I don't know how. Like, what was the game plan, I guess?
I think it was a tie.
The timeout was called with 4 seconds left on the play clock and 38 seconds left in the game. They had run the ball the last 4 downs. All they did after the timeout was run the ball again. What were they going to do? Kneel it? Okay, why didn't they kneel it the 3 plays before that? I guess I'm confused at what the difference was between before and after the timeout. All the Chargers had to do was not give up 17 yards on 2 plays, and they tied. That's it. And there was no other game plan. It's not like they lined up to go for a pass. It didn't even look like that. So
Yeah,
I'm confused at what changed, even though that report came out.
No clue. So
I have an answer to that.
Go ahead.
all right, which quarter?
No, go ahead, Joe.
No, the Raiders' attitude changed. I mean, I think the Raiders were honestly perfectly fine with letting it be a tie. And then they're like, you're going to call a timeout? Really? We're letting the clock run down. They're like, okay, then we're just going to try to run better play.
So, but all they did was run off the left side. What would they have done if they didn't call a timeout? Run off the right side? I guess I'm confused at what changed.
I think it probably would have just been like a crash up the middle. I mean, which it kind of was, but I think the Raiders were. I mean, if you watch them talk after the game, you could see them saying, "Oh, really, really?" Which I mean, if I was the Raiders, I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have just buried them. I mean, let the Steelers be in. That team's a hot mess too.
Right. All right, Joby, another question he's got on the board. Which quarterback will move in the offseason and where will they go? Brady?
I mean, my instinct is Tua or Deshaun. I don't know where. I mean, obviously Texans have decided they're not going to move on with Deshaun no matter what the end of that circumstances are. So I think a team takes a shot. The other one, I guess, would be Russ. I don't know. There's so many open jobs right now. It's ridiculous.
Does Sean Payton take a shot with Deshaun Watson if things get cleared?
Sean Payton should go to the Bears. That's what should really happen.
Oh, wait, so he can do another defensive scandal? I think the guy should not be allowed to coach in the NFL, to be 100% honest with you, if you're asking me.
Oh.
He gets found guilty of bounty game, and he just gets suspended for a year and is still allowed to coach in the NFL. That just seems very strange to me. But anyway, all right. Do you think people should be criticizing and bragging the Packers lost yesterday when they clinched the NFC and didn't want to play first stringers? That was from our boy Mark.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They only had 4 this year. Take it for a week. Jesus.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Balls answered it for us. Balls' question: who will be the highest seed to lose this weekend? Joby, start.
Cowboys.
Nate, need this thing up again?
Uh,
Or is that just no? That's just when we get to Brady. I don't know. I'll put it up anyway.
yeah. I'll go to Cowboys as well.
Okay. Balls.
I mean, that would have been my pick too. So Cowboys.
Okay. Brady.
I don't know. I picked the favorites in all the games, so I'll go. I think the best opportunity to lose is the Rams. I think they have the best chance to lose.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick Cowboys, but like I said, my first initial was, and I don't want them to lose, but that Patriots Bills game is just, man, giving me a weird feeling. So
I super hope the Cowboys don't lose. I hope we're all wrong. Plus, I'm just kind of pissed because we could have went to the quarterback thing forever. I mean, I spent like an hour and a half studying that stuff.
which NFL team has the most attractive head coaching job opening, Brady? We kind of already discussed this. We went over this in the beginning. Yeah, we covered it. We all answered. Joby bashed me for not having a question last week, so tried to come back strong. All right, well, we appreciate that comment there. A little shot at us, a little nudge. We'll take it, like men.
Oh, that was straight at you, by the way.
Papa Syrek says, "What about Jim Harbaugh to the Bears? He taking khakis to Chicagoland or the Lululemon blue navy pants?" They both shake their head. They don't want it. They don't want to have khakis in the.
I wouldn't mind it. I just don't know. I don't know why he would leave. I see a lot of reports saying that it's real. The interest is real. He just took a pay cut. He literally says Michigan's his dream job. He finally got over the hump this year, beat Ohio State, made a playoff, and his entire offense next year is all freshmen coming back. I just don't know how it makes sense for him after he finally succeeds for a year to completely skate away and go to an NFL job.
No,
Now, 2 to 3 years down the road, if there's not sustained success for him, if he doesn't beat Ohio State again next year or the year after, very likely could leave.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, possibly that ass beating he's going to take by Ohio State next year. But I mean,
all right.
Yeah. You're about to say like I think Jim Harbaugh does stay in Michigan too, but I mean it kind of I guess it depends on probably how much money might be able to get from NFL and maybe the type of job you might get. But yeah, I think he'll stay Michigan.
I think the two spots he goes are Raiders and Bears. Bears obviously he quarterbacked, and Raiders is where he started his coaching career. So those are the places that make sense that he has ties to.
Yep.
I think any of the other jobs, Jacksonville, no. Miami, no.
Denver,
no. So he can pick, right? He's the type of name that he can wait a year or two and pick the perfect job that he wants if he wants to go back to the NFL. It's not something he has to force. He can.
Right.
This is an opportunity I want to take. I can take it, or I can go back to Michigan for another year. So
right. All right. Later entry to Def and Balls. Your wish came true. Your coaches are gone. Now, what do you want to replace them? We kind of touched on that earlier. We went through the same kind of thing. We don't really know. I mean,
you didn't say Def. I want to hear who you want to replace your coach.
Well, I don't really know. Like I said, did you not hear what my answer was earlier
Just
when I
anyone?
said no. Listen, no. You did not listen to what I was saying earlier at all. You totally missed what I said then earlier. What I said was I honestly am not bought into that Zimmer was the guy that needed to be fired. I don't know that there is a better coach out there than Zimmer right now that's available for this team. I think we're never going to know. But this goes back to the whole head office thing and Spielman and everybody else above him. How much control did he have as a head coach, or how much did he not have? I think there was a lot of setback due to people above him.
So would you have been fine with him firing Spielman and keeping Zimmer?
Yes, absolutely.
You would have? Okay.
And maybe move on. And maybe move on from Kirk.
Has that ever happened? Has a team ever fired a GM and then told the new GM that they can't pick the head coach?
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
It's rare.
Like it happens in Dallas yearly.
Brady, it's happened in Chicago too, buddy.
When?
I mean, before we were
okay,
able to be fans, really, but it happens.
I just always have thought that the GM comes in, they get to pick their coach, and most of the times they get to at least one. At least one
Usually
quarterback.
how it works, but yeah. And I actually replied to your thing right here too, Joby, so you can read what I said to you back to you if you go to the comments. Tim, all right, here we go, guys. Olympic time, baby. We need to add the Olympics to our queue. Papa Syrek needs us to talk some Olympics here. Are you guys psyched for the Olympics, or don't you care?
What sports are in it for this?
Winter.
Well, we're in the winter time.
Snowboarding, skiing, all the skating events,
like the cool bobsledding and stuff, like the
Sean White's back. Sean White's back again for the 2022
snowboarding.
Olympics.
Yep.
I think it's
probably
fun.
moto, probably winter moto shit too. I'm sure, like they kind of throw that in there now.
I will say I'm disappointed with the NHL not participating in the hockey portion of it. That's always fun to watch the USA team.
Yeah,
but Sean White back, that's dope. I love watching the skiing and snowboarding events. You know what's actually super interesting is like the speed skating events. Yeah, those dudes fly around that rink. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I get into the Olympics. You know, could I name or tell you a certain Olympian that like we're glued to or looking at that I paid any attention to as it's getting there? No, but once it starts, right? But once it starts, I'll be into it. Like nights when there's not other things going on, like when there's not football playoff games, or there's not something else, you know, I'll take it in, you know, whenever I can. So, but anyone else got anything to add to the Olympics?
Where's it at? What country?
China.
Oh, so we're not going anyway. So.
No, we are. It's in Beijing.
Oh, okay.
That's why Sean White's there.
Honestly, I mean, like, you know, as manly as I want to be, I'll watch the shit out of that figure skating stuff. I have no idea why.
We already, Joby, let's be honest. If we had a little ice skating rink in your room,
man, I'm actually pretty good at it.
Let me speak. Yes. What I'm saying is, if there was a little ice skating rink there in your room right there, and you move your camera back on, and you got a tripod a little bit, stand a little taller, and you put your ice skates on, those nice white colored ice skates, and you could do a little triple axle action for us.
Mm-hmm. There actually is an ice skating ring here, and I have outfits. I just can't, you know.
Get the outfit on and let's see it. Let's end the show on a high note. Let's go viral.
I'm trying to do this with a new phone, bro. I mean, you know, I can't give you everything.
Joby, help us go viral, bro.
Right.
It's time for the team.
If you was here where I could throw you up for like a, you know, and then hit a triple.
Oh, hell no. You're not throwing me up while you're on stage.
You live in Minnesota. Why can't you ice skate? Fuck, you should be better than all of us.
But I'm not going around doing triple axles, bro. I might like be on skates and put somebody into the boards or something with a check, but I'm not going to be triple axling anything.
I'm saying toe pick.
There you go. There you go. And our last comment of the night is from our lovely Joby1 Kenobi. 13 comments and watch Shaw win again. LOL. There you go.
Oh,
Shaw.
One more sport I do want to touch on.
Let's go. Let's keep going. I'm down.
Curling is so funny to watch.
I knew that was what you were saying.
Literally so funny. They're screaming at their teammates. It's just fun. It's fun to watch.
I like the is it Solemn, where they get in the thing and they're like just flying down.
Oh, that's bobsled.
Yeah, bobsled.
Yeah, bobsled.
No, it's not a bobsled.
Like cool running. Like cool running.
Luge.
Yeah. Cool running.
Oh, luge. Yeah, that's what it is. Luge.
Yeah.
You guys had a run. Cool. You guys had a running back named the same Marshawn Shalom. That's what it is.
So there's three. There's bobsled, which is single teams. There's luge, which you're laying on your back, and then skeleton, you're laying on your stomach.
Yeah, those two are awesome.
Dude, honestly, though, that's so scary. Could you imagine they get up there in speed? Can you imagine going down those, like, tracks?
Face first, going like 75.
Yeah, some of those guys crash. Hasn't somebody actually like died doing one of those things or something?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think at the Olympics, but I think in some other events there have
They
been.
probably
Yeah.
have. You go face first, probably to like a wall somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you could really get crushed. Like,
I have the Winter Olympics sport list up here, and there's the event where they're in skis and they have to ski, and then
Oh,
shoot. ski.
yeah, like cross country, and then yeah.
It's like a winter triathlon.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. I mean, they're like ski.
Hey, Joby, what
Yes,
date
sir.
are you ice skating?
What's
so we
that?
can watch? What date are you in there ice skating? So we can watch?
I'll make a video. I'll put it up for you.
No, the Olympics.
Well, I'll probably be out after the first day.
All right.
It's like I get a
Anything
7.
else?
You know, I get like a 6.5 from the judges. You know, from the Americans, like a 7.2 from the Eastern Europeans. and my
Balls
mom-
mutes. Balls
Yeah.
mutes.
My
Balls is
mom
out.
disguises an East German, gives me like a 4.2.
Look, I don't even have to tell Balls to mute anymore. He just does it. He's like, I'm out. I'm done. All right, you guys got anything else? We good? All right, man. I think that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to probably do some type of auction tomorrow night. I don't know if we'll do just a fun, cheap lot auction or something. I'll put something together. I don't have a lot of new stuff that's come in, but I've been going through some crap. So we'll do something tomorrow night, little hangout, little auction / whatever. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you check everybody out. We got all their links. Check out Nate's doing content. Balls is going to try to be doing some content on his own stuff this year. We'll see what Brady gets into here. And Joby won. Well, he's still working on his figure skating gold. So we'll see what happens. But until next time, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like this video. Get that comment up once this posts so you can win some of that money or get some auction credit. Till next time, gang. We appreciate y'all. Later.